The prisoner bites into a grenade right in front of the officer. The officer thinks he's being provoked, so he walks up and punches the prisoner. But what happens next is even more bizarre. The prisoner, after taking the punch, looks like he's about to vomit. Suddenly, he pulls a ribbon out of his mouth, and as he keeps pulling, it turns out to be a military medal. Not just any medal, though. This is the highest honor of the German army. The officer is stunned, staring in disbelief, and asks the prisoner where he got it from. The prisoner responds with a loud fart. Right after that, a ringing sound echoes through the air. The lieutenant quickly checks for his pocket watch, but to his shock, the prisoner pulls a watch from behind his own butt. The lieutenant is dumbfounded. How the heck did his watch end up there? Just as the lieutenant tries to grab it back, the prisoner, holding the watch, climbs up onto a well, and without saying a word, jumps right in. The lieutenant rushes over to check, but a hand suddenly shoots out of the well. They quickly pull him back up, and the lieutenant, feeling like he's been toyed with, but just as he raises his fist, he realizes, somehow, the watch is back in his own pocket. The lieutenant finds the whole thing oddly amusing, but little do they know, the real show is just getting started. The prisoner suddenly starts performing tricks like a circus acrobat, grabbing everyone's attention. All the soldiers burst out laughing, completely entertained by his antics, and the atmosphere lightens up. The officer, munching on an apple, finds himself enjoying the prisoner's performance. But then, the prisoner does something even crazier. He pulls out a grenade and takes a bite out of it. The soldiers instantly tense up, drawing their guns in panic. The officer, however, is curious to see what the prisoner will do next. The prisoner starts juggling a few grenades, casually playing with them while backing away. With a sudden spin, he dashes into a warehouse. The lieutenant quickly orders his men to follow and see what's going on. A few seconds later, the prisoner bursts out of the warehouse, a wooden barrel on his head, running around in a ridiculous, aimless way. The soldiers crack up, thinking this guy must be a complete idiot. They shove him around like a blind fool, and he eventually collapses in the middle of the crowd. The lieutenant, curious, walks over to see what this fool is doing. But as soon as they lift the barrel, he's gone. The atmosphere turns serious again. Suddenly, the sound of a cat's meow echoes in the air. As they keep searching for the missing prisoner, they hear another round of cat sounds from a distance. To their shock, they spot the prisoner, who somehow climbed onto the roof, sitting there licking his leg like a cat. The whole squad bursts into laughter again, amazed at how he's pulling this off. Even the officer can't help but be impressed. The prisoner then pulls up a ladder, and no one knows what he's planning next. He starts climbing step by step, performing a high-level balancing act, pulling off jaw-dropping stunts with ease. His daring moves make the soldiers hold their breath, afraid he might fall. Meanwhile, the officer walks over to the two young girls tied up nearby. The officer then threatens the girls' lives, but the prisoner just flips him an insulting hand gesture. And then something even weirder happens. The prisoner, still lying on his stomach, suddenly jumps off the roof, just like that. Everyone freezes, wondering if this is another trick. They rush toward him, and the officer, puzzled, comes over too. He gives the prisoner a kick, and it really seems like the guy's dead. But as the officer turns around, he realizes the two girls tied to the gallows are suddenly gone. Before he can react, a bullet shoots through his head. In just a few seconds, all the soldiers are gunned down by an unknown enemy. Only the captain is left standing there in shock, thinking the whole thing must be part of the act. Once the chaos settles, the prisoner slowly stands up, looking around at all the fallen enemies. Only the bewildered captain remains. The prisoner raises his hand, signaling to the captain that this was all part of the show. And with that, the movie ends.